Let's talk about the Duskbloods first of all. John, thoughts?
Wow. So this is really interesting because this seems to be a From Software Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive, possibly published by Nintendo. And at first glance, I was kind of screaming like, wait, this is Bloodborne 2. Is this Bloodborne 2? This looks like Bloodborne 2. And I'm not wrong on that, right, Oliver? Like, it looks like Bloodborne. Like, it could be a Bloodborne adjacent product, right? Like, they may have well just called us Blood Souls after a while. But information afterward that I saw from Jason Schreier suggests that this is actually more of a multiplayer game, which if this is just multiplayer focused, then my interest tanks a little bit. But I'm still curious to see what they do with it, given how they've turned a lot of single player things on their head. So maybe, aside from Night Rain, which they're also doing, they seem to have a bee in their bonnet regarding multiplayer stuff lately for some reason. So I'm willing to give it a shot. But either way, I would say it's a big deal that they managed to scoop a From Software exclusive, which is something if you asked me 25 years ago, saying like they managed to scoop a From Software exclusive, most people would laugh, even though I enjoyed From Software games back then. I mean, the PS2 launched with 3 of them. But this looks good. And technically, I would say this looks significantly better than, as you'll talk about in a moment, Oliver, the Elden Ring port that they showed. This feels a little bit more targeting the hardware, maybe, where the image quality and the general like fluidity of movement all seems pretty good. And I like the visual style because it is fundamentally, it's like an evolution of Bloodborne, if you will. So I don't know. I'm excited to see where it goes, even if it is a multiplayer game. And I think it was kind of a big one more thing, even though it wasn't the actual one more thing, but it almost was.
It's certainly a coup to get this, that's for sure.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think this does look very Bloodborne in terms of its overall styling here. Definitely very Bloodborne. Although I would say, like, there are some things, like, I don't think, I think the density is probably a little bit less, but maybe they're a little bit more mature with some of the rendering possibly here.
I might actually venture, Oliver, it's like Bloodborne meets Lies of P. Which itself was inspired by Soulsborne's games, but it has some of those mechanical elements.
It's got kind of some steampunk stuff as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that was a big part of Bloodborne there. In terms of the just general metrics here, Tom counted it out, I believe, as a 1080p title in every shot here, which is it's pretty good for a title like this, I suppose. It does have very minimal AA treatment, though. It looks pretty raw. There's a lot of like specular aliasing and stuff like that in some of these darker scenes. There is some SSR, which is a nice touch, and there's also some volumetric fog, it looks like, which is a little bit aliased there. But overall, I think, this does look extremely familiar in terms of its association with Bloodborne potentially. But I think this looks all right for the Switch 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just been going step by step through the video because I haven't done the performance testing on this yet, and it does seem to be just like properly paced 30 frames per second.
Right. Unusual.
Which is unusual for a From Software game. But I guess there'll be some performance capture possibly running as I talk, because I'm going to do it directly after we film this. We shall know one way or the other.